Well, hello there, my beautiful multi-dimensional humans. I'm RidersDX, and today we get to talk some That's right, we're gonna talk about the most hated moves in MultiVersus thus far. And so, MultiVersus is a very competitive game. Everyone wants their time to spotlight being the master of all masters and topping the charts as their favorite character. But when that ill-fated moment comes where you, just lose, and lose, and lose, and lose. It sucks. It really sucks. And what really sucks about it is the fact that there are certain characters with these big ass moves that seemingly knock you out every single time they use it. And so we're gonna go through a list of 20 of the most annoying / hated moves in MultiVersus. This is a combination of both what people have been saying on the internet and also my personal perspective, so it's just sort of a weird mishmash in terms of how the list is actually ranked. And so let's go ahead and dive into this list. Let me know in the comment section below what your most hated move is, and let's go ahead and just be salty for a little bit, because everyone needs to be that. At number 20, I'm gonna put Taz's classical spin here to Taznado. Now, this move is definitely not hated that much anymore. MultiVersus has nerfed the out of it, but I will never forget when the game first got launched and everyone, absolutely everyone hated this move. I mean, I even got hate in like one of my old MultiVersus videos just for playing Taz and just using the Taznado every now and then. And by every now and then, I meant like every other move. So Taznado hate was definitely on the rise when the game first got released, but thankfully the developers immediately noticed that people were not too keen on this move and nerfed it to hell. And so now the move is really not that much of a KO move anymore. However, it still is a useful move and it does deal some damage, and so it's kind of the best of both worlds, but unfortunately Taz pretty much went from one of the most played characters to one of the least played characters, and so it'll be very interesting to see how they make Taz into a more viable fighter again. At number 19, it's Steven's watermelon buddy move called Watermelon Steven Go, and so with this move, Steven plants a watermelon creating an aura that will heal allies over time, but the watermelon then explodes into a watermelon Steven that will assist Steven's allies as a fighter. So basically you have a whole nother fighter spawn onto the field, and like, come on, how is that not an annoying move? There is no other character in the game that can do this as far as I know. To have even another player on your team fighting for you is absolutely bonkers. Now, granted, this move has definitely been nerfed to since the alpha. I remember when the alpha first came, it took so many hits to knock this out, but nowadays just one strong hit can knock this out, and so it's really not that bad now. But I just want to put this here because it was by far like my most annoying move when I was playing the alpha. I'll never forget it. At number 18, we have one of many Jake moves here, and so we got Jake's down special here, which is called That's Heavy Dude. So basically when Jake does his down special, he'll transform into a house or a similar projectile and slam to the ground. You can also charge the move to stay transformed. Any projectile that hits Jake will be reflected, Vitals will just bounce off Jake, and if any ally bounces off Jake, Jake will emit a poof projectile that knocks away enemies. And so this move is annoying to me because when Jake is in this form, he's really hard to kill. There's only certain moves that will still damage Jake, so it's basically like a free shield for who knows how long they hold that for, and it just makes Jake a really annoying player sometimes when you can't like actually attack him. At number 17, we got Steven's neutral special, which is called Bubble Boy. And so this move is a little annoying, but it is also difficult to pull off. What Steven does is that he sends out a tether projectile, but after a few seconds it hits enemies and applies a bubble debuff. And once you attack the debuff enemy enough times, it will put them into a bubble, which stops them from interacting with the fight. So basically at any point in this fight, you could just be trapped in a bubble and not able to do anything. It can be really annoying whenever it happens because you don't even realize it's about to happen until it happens, and it's just such a pace breaker. It's really annoying. Number 16, we got LeBron James's side special, which is called the L train. So basically what happens here is LeBron will launch into the air and dunk his basketball downward, which creates a shockwave projectile on the ground that deals weakened and destroys his basketball. This move just seems like it has a much bigger hitbox than it's supposed to have, and so every time I see it, I just kind of like run away as soon as possible because it just seems like a move that's going to like KO you anytime you hit it, and it just seems a little bit too devastating, but maybe that's just my own experience. Number 15, we got Batman's side special, which is the back grapple, which is basically this game's homing attack. So what Batman will do is that he will aim and then fire his grappling hook gun, attaching it to fighters of the environment. So So the grapple will pull him to his destination and he will hit any enemy along the way. So not only is he going to hit the enemy that he's targeting, but he'll also hit any enemies that are in his path. And so it's just such a cheap way to get like another hit on an opponent. Like you could be like on the other side of the stage, and as soon as Batman grapples to you, it's an automatic hit. I mean, it doesn't matter where you are at the moment, Batman will hit you. And so it's just annoying because it's like, how are you supposed to avoid someone that can automatically attach to you? Like, it's one of the reasons why Batman is so easy to deal damage with. Number 14, we got yet another Jake move, which is Jake's down air attack, which is called Where's My Half Pipe. So basically what Jake does is that he pulls out a skateboard for some sweet tricks. And by sweet tricks, I mean that Jake lands on enemies and he will bounce off and do a new trick, and he will basically be able to keep hitting you every time he lands on you. And so if you're not careful enough, then Jake will land a lot of damage on you really quickly with this move, because not only can it hit you once, but he can hit you 2 more times, and you can just keep doing it and doing it and doing it, and you're basically doomed. So that's a lot of fun. At number 13, I have Velma's neutral attack. So it's called supportive words. And so as you know, Velma shouts a word bubble that like will hit whoever is like in the vicinity of it. So after the bubble hits, you can press a neutral attack again to fire additional bubbles that lock onto the first's location. And so this basically can really screw you over if the bubble like hits you like maybe in the air, for instance, and Velma keeps hitting you with it, and you'll just get like knocked into the air. It's really annoying, and it does require a cooldown phase, but I mean, a lot of Velma players can hit it just enough to get you out, and it can be really annoying and really hard to see coming. Number 12, we got Iron Giant's side special. And so basically Iron Giant will grab a nearby enemy, and not only is the enemy stumped, but Iron Giant can carry them across the map and also like throw them in any direction. So I've seen so many clips of Iron Giant just like grabbing enemies and just throwing them into the sky. You don't have to be too high of a percentage to get like knocked out this way. Iron Giant could literally knock you out in a mere second. It's basically the ground version of Superman's grab, which we're gonna go over later on. Number 11, we got Jake's up special, which is stretching out. And so I don't think this annoys too many people, but it annoys me a lot. And so basically how this move works is that Jake charges and stretches his head upward while his buttons stay behind. So enemies that touch Jake are knocked back. After stretching, Jake's buttons become a projectile that snaps back to his head. So Jake can only be hit in the head in this form. So basically you have this annoying line in the map that if you touch it, you're gonna get knocked back and take damage. It's just annoying because it's like MultiVersus is such an area moving game that having this like giant line away can make navigating really annoying, especially when you're trying to target Jake. You know, Jake can just keep doing this and make himself really hard to hit, and oh gosh, every time a Jake does this, I don't know how to hit them. They're too fast and they're in an awkward spot, and I just can't do it. At number 10, we got Finn's neutral special, which is called High Five Dude. And so what this does is that Finn charges and delivers a powerful high five attack that reflects projectiles and will attack anyone at the end of that high five. This is pretty annoying because it's like Finn can literally just run straight at you, nothing can stop him, and then when he gets to you, he will deal a lot of damage. It's just an annoying attack because there's really no way to stop Finn from doing it, especially because it's so fast. At number 9, we got Arya's knife teleport, which is called Knife Thrower. And so this really took me by surprise when I first went against an Arya, because I was like, how is Arya homing in on me like that? And basically how this move works is that Arya throws a knife projectile that can attach to fighters. If it attaches to fighters, Arya can press input again, and Arya will dash to the knife's location, hitting enemies as she dashes. And so if Arya does this when you're like at the edge of the map, you're basically a goner. And oh my gosh, I lost to an Arya so many times in this way, and it is so annoying. At number 8, we got Jake's side special, which is called Giddy Up. And so this really doesn't need an introduction. Jake transforms into a horse projectile and just gallops, and very few moves can actually attack through this horse. And so you're basically just left with the choice of avoiding it, and if you get anywhere close to Jake as a horse, you're basically done for. This thing can deal a lot of damage. It can knock players out. At number 7, it's Iron Giant's armor called Bolt Friends. And so basically Iron Giant just summons a bunch of bolts that encircle him, and each bolt acts similarly to armor but is immune to armor break abilities. So basically Iron Giant is invincible when he has this on. You can't break through it. He has tons of health. You just have to avoid Iron Giant, and avoiding Iron Giant is kind of difficult when he's a gigantic character that takes up like a quarter of the map. At number 6, we got Bugs Bunny's air up attack, which is Swing Bada Bada. Now I'm very guilty of using this move, but basically Bugs Bunny delivers an upward baseball bat swing. It seems very simple, but the annoying thing about this move is that it has an unusually huge hitbox. I mean, you really don't even need to be touching the bat to get damaged by it. This is a very magical bat that can attack even people behind bugs that he's not swinging the bat at. And so it's definitely overpowered and definitely one of Bug's most used moves, but I don't know. I love it personally, but I understand why it needs to be nerfed. At number 5, speaking of moves I love, this is Shaggy's forward kick called Chilla Instinct Kick. And so it's very simple. Shaggy does a flying kick forward. The rage version is even faster and travels further. And so this is a very popular move with Shaggy players because you basically can land so much damage so quickly with this move. It's fast, it's hard to avoid. Very few of Shaggy's attacks even compared to the damage and speed of this move. The only thing is that you can't spam it like all the time. Like if you keep spamming it, you're not going to hit that many people. You kind of just need to catch people off guard and then use it. But nonetheless, it's a very overpowered move and I'm kind of surprised it's not been nerfed yet, to be honest. But I don't know, it's one of my go-tos. I do try to mix it up at least. I am trying to learn some other combos with Shaggy, but man, this move is just such a lifesaver, I'm not gonna lie. And number 4, we got Superman's up air special called Go Long. And so what happens is that Superman lunges upward, he grabs an enemy and breaks their armor, and then Superman throws them in a direction. And most Superman players will throw them up because most Superman players will use this move when you're near the top of the map and will just toss you out of the map. It is absolutely infuriating whenever this happens because it's very easy to knock a player out at a very low percentage if Superman catches you at the wrong position at the wrong time. So you gotta be really careful around Superman. And number 3, we got Iron Giant's down special, which is called Cannonball. And so basically what happens is that Iron Giant jumps into the air and then cannonballs downward. Before he jumps, he can even move and aim on the ground or control where his cannonball lands. This move seems like any other down special, but the thing is, it's the Iron Giant. So he has such a huge hitbox with this down special, and not only that, this down special can hit enemies multiple times. If they get caught like earlier on in the attack, it'll just keep dealing damage and damage on the enemy, and then they'll probably get knocked out of the map because that's how it usually works. This is super annoying, especially when you have 2 Iron Giants you're going against, because they basically just spam this move and they're basically unstoppable. Now, I have heard this move is nerfed in the latest version. I haven't played MultiVersus that recently to confirm that yet, but I just know from memory that this move is an absolute train wreck to go against. Number 2, we got Finn's up special, the backpack attack. So I know a lot of people are probably surprised that this is not number 1, but in my personal opinion, it is a pretty annoying move, I'm not gonna lie. Basically, Finn spins his backpack around, repeatedly hitting enemies, and the more gold Finn has, the stronger his final hit is. This move has so much range and deals a lot of damage, and it's usually done in the air, so once you get that final hit as Finn, you usually knock people out if they're at a high enough percentage. And so it definitely can be annoying, doesn't have any cooldown charge, you basically can just spam it, and it is so annoying, and so many players that play Finn use it. It's absolutely crazy. I totally understand, I totally agree. It's a very annoying move and it can be very hard to avoid if you're anywhere close to a Finn. But number 1, that is by far the most hated move, at least for me personally, and definitely one of the top hated moves in MultiVersus, is Superman to air side special 10-ton tackle. So basically, Superman will fly forward, and then if he collides with an enemy while flying, he will grab them, break their armor, and fly a short distance before punching them forward. And so this move can really screw you up. It's basically like the Superman move I mentioned earlier, except it has way more range in terms of where you can actually move Superman. It's so much easier to catch people this way. You literally just have to jump into them, and then they will be grabbed by Superman, and if you're close enough to the edge of the map, which is not really that close to be honest, you will knock the player out, and it is so goddamn annoying whenever this happens, especially when you have a really low percentage of damage. The unfortunate thing is that you really don't want to risk like attacking Superman to cancel him out of this, because only the strongest moves will do it, since Superman can break armor to pull off this move, and when he grabs you, there's no way to break out of it. You're basically just doomed to be attacked by this move, and it's so sad. It's so sad whenever you lose because of this move. It's so cheap, it's so annoying. I don't know how they can nerf it, but please maybe just make there to be some way to break out of it, because otherwise I don't know. When I play Superman, I just very much dread it. It's not like this move is like more deadly than Finn's attack. I do think Finn's attack is a little bit more deadly, but man, just the feeling I get when I lose to Superman because of this move is just infuriating. It is absolutely infuriating. I can't stand it. I'm sorry. But there you go, folks. That is my top 20 list of the most hated attacks in MultiVersus. Let me know what your most hated attack is in the comment section below. This was all in good fun, by the way. I might have gotten a little heated during that video, but honestly, MultiVersus is still a really fun game, and this is just a part of the development process. MultiVersus is still in beta, and we still got a long ways to go before the game is finalized and finished. And so videos like this are more so to just give developers a little bit more insight on what it's like to be as a player and what are certain moves that just kind of just grind your gears. And so hopefully we can make the game more fair and more fun in the future. But honestly, MultiVersus is so much fun as it is that even if everything stayed the same, I don't think I'd mind it too much. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to subscribe to this channel if you want to keep up to date with more MultiVersus news and updates and discussions. And just yeah, thank you all so much. This is Riders, riding out.